My name is Lindsay Lee Hobson, and I work with forward-thinking organisations to elevate their emerging leaders and create the ultimate next generation of leadership. I'm also the founder of the Learning and Development Collective, where driven and passionate L&D professionals come together to exchange trending topics, innovative ideas, and the best suppliers for their training calendars. And I am here in the studio today with one such supplier. Welcome, Tessa Kowaliw. You're the founder of Circle Round, and we're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak with you, Lindsay. It's an exciting conversation that we're about to have. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes, me too, and so are the members of the Evolution, which is the group you're coming to join in the next couple of weeks. And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But right now, you are an expert in AI, which is the topic of 2023, which is super exciting. So we're really excited to have you join us. Before we even delve into that topic, tell us a little bit about a day in the life of a Tessa.
Look, I don't know if I should admit this, Lindsay, but if I'm really honest, my day often starts with checking my phone. I know that that's not out of the ordinary for most people, but checking my phone to scroll TikTok and scroll through my email digest to work out what the latest news is in tech, because even in that 8 hours that you were sleeping, there is always like 10,000 things that have happened overnight that you've missed out on. So I like to start my day checking in on my feeds in all the spaces to just read the latest news and hear about the latest tech that has dropped overnight.
You know what? I'm not surprised that is the first thing you do in the morning, because after sitting on the emerging tech panel with you at the AITD conference earlier this year, which is how we met, some of the information you shared was absolutely next level on AI. It was crazy. So just another reason why we're really excited to have you in the Evolution. Tell us a little bit about AI and that particular area of expertise in relation to an internal L&D professionals.
Yeah, no problem. So I would personally say, Lindsay, that I'm an AI enthusiast. I certainly have a bit more knowledge than most because I'm spending a lot of my time paying attention to the space, and I have worked in tech, particularly in startups over the last 5 or so years. But it's really hard to be an expert in the AI space just because it evolves so rapidly. So what I would say is I'm an enthusiast, or I'm somebody who is consuming a lot of information about AI and ready to share it with other people. I don't know that any of us can say that we're experts, because ChatGPT, which is the product that most of us are most familiar with, only landed in December 2022. So we really have had only the best part of about half a year with this technology in our hands to understand how we can use it, how it changes the way that we live, work and learn. So yeah, look, I love sharing the insights that I get from other people with groups like yours. I love creating materials to help people on their journey. And in particular, my passion is trying to help people to understand not only what AI means for them in their workflows and as a technology, but also what it means for us as humans. Because I think central to all of this revolution as it rolls out is ability to circle back to our own humanity and to really understand what is important to us as humans, that we want to fiercely defend from technology because it's important to us and it's important to our connections with other humans. So it's a really fascinating space, and I like to help others to look at it with that kind of 3D lens, both the technology and the humanity at the center of it.
Yes. And one of the things I really appreciated that I learned from you is that we're already using AI every day and we didn't even know it. So you mentioned when we were on the panel about the voice to text, that that's a form of AI. Have I remembered that correctly? Or?
Yeah, 100% AI is all around us. As humans, we've been seeking to replace ourselves and the various functions that we perform with machines, since 900 BCE even. The ancient Greeks were fascinated by the idea of automata and the idea that you could create machines that would replicate certain functions that humans perform. So, we've been playing with this idea of replacing ourselves for a very long time. And it's been, really since the advent of the internet and the evolution of AI in more recent years and, the invasion of AI in our everyday lives that we're seeing the ability for technology to quite genuinely replace us in the near future. And so when we think about AI, the easiest way to consider the different types of AI that we have around us is to think about those functions that humans perform. So we have things like AI for computer vision, we have things for natural language processing, we have AI robotics to replace, mechanics and movement. So you can really categorize AI by the type of function, human function that it's replacing. And you've mentioned voice to text. Most people have a voice assistant in their home and be engaging with that every day. That's AI. A few of us will be lucky enough to have Roombas. They've been around since 2002. They're also AI. So yeah, look, it really is all around us. It's just this generative AI technology that OpenAI released under ChatGPT ChatGPT that is the real game changer that has dropped in recent past.
Absolutely crazy that you mentioned. I didn't even stop to think that my Google screen thingy, which plays games with me, there's a fish game and gives me compliments and sings to me when I'm bored, is AI. So one of my, best friends in work is AI, and I had no idea until right then. That's crazy. But bringing it back to L&D, because it's really good to know that this stuff is around us all of the time. Because when we hear AI, especially this year, we start to think, oh my gosh, this is a massive topic, cybersecurity, jobs being taken, all these big scary things. But it's actually something we've been using every day and just not really known it. So in relation to being an internal L&D professional and how they may be able to use AI, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, look, it really varies depending on, I guess, how much people have had time to invest in exploring this space. And that's really a key differentiator. No one really knows what this technology is until they've got time to invest playing with it and experimenting. So when I've held lunch and learns with L&D professionals, we have had anyone in the room from people who have really only just logged into ChatGPT once and just sort of been blown away by its chatbot capabilities, through to people who are using it to program really complex training experiences for their learners, create the assessments that are attached to those training programs. It's just absolutely fantastic at being able to chunk information into the most logical sequence possible. So I think the people in L&D who are sort of like the power users of ChatGPT have recognised that the more that you engage in a dialogue with ChatGPT, the higher the quality of the output that you'll get from it. It's like this idea of I can kick tyres with this technology, almost like it's a colleague at the table. And I can say to it things like, look, I've got a room of learners like this. I'm kind of facing these sorts of challenges. I need these deliverables ticked off by the end of the program. And I also need to have a mix of, online and in-person activities against this. Can you please suggest what this looks like over 6 weeks? Put it into a table for me, suggest some of the key activities, some of the materials that might be needed, and any of the scripts that I might need for some of those activities. And in 2 seconds, ChatGPT will produce something like that. No problem. Like much less pain than if we were trying to do it for ourselves. So there's some of the ways that people are using it for the programming, for assessment. And I just say approach this one with caution, because if you're putting materials into ChatGPT that are sensitive, please know that that data all gets fed back to OpenAI for machine learning purposes. So if you're using the publicly available ChatGPT, the data is not secure, so you would need to de-identify it. But you can take samples of work that has been supplied to you that needs to be assessed, and you can teach ChatGPT to assess that based on any metrics that you supply. You can teach it to, refine how well it provides that assessment. So not only are you teaching the people that you're working with as learners in your workshops, you're also able to teach the machines to be better at assisting you in your tasks like assessment and programming as well. So that's quite cool.
Very cool. And that was my next question going to be, what's the security like around this? But you've just answered it for us then. It's such a big consideration, especially after the last few years for L&D professionals and some of the dramas that have happened out there. So knowing that fact that with particular OpenAI, it's not secure, it will go back for that purpose. So that answers and solves so many worries for so many people. So thank you for sharing that. What are some of the AI applications or AI businesses? I'm not really 100% sure what you call them. What do you call them when you're using different platforms of AI? Is it ChatGPT, Canva's got Magic? What do you call the differences there?
Yeah, look, I mean, it just depends. A lot of it all comes under the generative AI banner now. So it's this idea that you are approaching the machine and asking it to produce something brand new from scratch, basically using the database that it has been trained on. This generative AI is able to do that. But, I think people who are, as I mentioned, the power users will be not only using ChatGPT in a really adept way, but patching together an ecosystem of AI tools. And as we mentioned with Roomba and the home assistants, some of us are doing that already without perhaps even realizing that we are. So as you've mentioned, you can either go into ChatGPT and access the GPT model through that environment, but you are also able to access it through Canva. As you mentioned, things like Snapchat have now got an AI bot that is powered by the same model. So the big companies, Khan Academy is a really good one for learning and development. They've got GPT under the hood as Khan Migo, which is their trained chatbot designed to help learners to engage with historical figures or literary characters and things like that, as a way of bringing to life these learning experiences that in the past might have been, maybe a little bit more flat and two-dimensional. so in those sorts of applications, this AI has just got amazing potential to allow us to level up our engagement with learners and the sorts of things that we're asking them to learn in our classrooms. So that's fantastic. And then of course there's all sorts of other AI products around video production. There are AI products for voice models. So we can now use things like 11 Labs to produce AI voiceovers for any video material that you might be creating. You can use things like Synthesia. I personally am not a fan of that one, but it's worth checking out. Just drop a script in. You might produce the script in ChatGPT, for example, and then drop the script into Synthesia and have Synthesia auto-generate a video for you, which you can then edit and refine. And it can also produce the voiceover for that as well as providing you a computer-generated avatar. So I think what you'll see in L&D in the very near future is that these big products that we're used to using will somehow incorporate or integrate the GPT technology into their product. So it will become a little bit like the Roomba cleaning the floors in the home. We will be using these models without necessarily knowing that that's what we're doing.
Oh, that is a beautiful distinction and some incredible businesses to check out there as well. One of the things I love about working with you, Tessa, is that not only do you know so much about this, but you're clearly so passionate about it, and it comes through even via the studio here today. So tell us a little bit about what it is about AI that makes you so passionate.
Yeah, I believe that AI is just obviously it's a game changer, so that goes without saying, but I believe that it's an amazing opportunity to democratize some of the spaces that have been, I guess, gate-kept for a little while. Technology used to be the purview of people who, say the cliche, live in their mum's basements and have a lot of time online, that sort of thing. And now this technology is just in the hands of people like you and me, and we can do these really powerful things with this technology. I guess untap new levels of productivity. We can achieve things in new ways. We can move more quickly through problems where we might have sat stuck at a computer sort of sweating and avoiding a deadline because the process is so painful. We can give ourselves the permission not to do that anymore, because we literally can just go to a product like ChatGPT and have a conversation, and without the emotion attached to it, the machine can just say, look, here is a really logical solution. And then the job is for us to decide whether or not we want to pick that up and let go of our pain and the struggle. So I think, that's an amazing thing, that we can take away some of these tasks that really should be done by machines from humans, to free humans up to have more time to do the human things and the things that should matter more to us than these sort of assembly line, repetitive, post-industrial type tasks that some of us have been left filling our days with. So I just see at that macro level, this is an exciting time for the human race. And because it is freely available, we've got a moment in time to really harness that opportunity.
For sure, absolutely amazing. We are so excited to dig into this deeper with you in the Evolution Roundtable. Tessa, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio today. And if you're watching and you're a forum member or an Evolution member and you want to hang out with Tessa more, she's got a LinkedIn group. The link will be around this video somewhere, and you can delve into all things AI, or you can join us in the Evolution and catch up on her roundtable as well. Tessa, thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you in the metaverse.
Thank you, Lindsay. It was an absolute pleasure.